And I'm Sam.
And
this is
iCarly.
No, I'm just kidding. This isn't iCarly.
I'm Becky Robinson.
And I'm Bryson Munn. And this is B&B Biometrics.
Here at B&B Biometrics, our mission is to secure our clients' financial and personal information using cutting-edge biometric technology. Hi, what are biometrics, you ask? Biometrics is the technical term for body measurements and calculations. It refers to the metrics related to human characteristics, such as fingerprints, your irises, your hair, handwriting. There's many things you could use. Biometrics authentication is used in computer science as a form of identification and access control. It is also used to identify individuals in a group for surveillance. There are three basic things that a biometric system does. The first one is enrollment, the second one is storage, and the third one is comparison. In step one, enrollment, the system gets basic information from you and your biometric. Depending on which one it is, for a fingerprint scan, it gets your fingerprint. The second one is storage. It analyzes your certain trait and converts it into a numeric code or graph, depending on the system. And the third one is comparison. The comparison compares the trait you present to the one on file. So it sees if your comparison matches or not. So if your fingerprint matches the one they have on file, or if your iris matches the one they have on file. There's many things. That's just a basic system.
Our security plan for this bank is to use a biometric technology that can be used inside the bank to open money vaults, inside the bank to make transactions and get personal information, do business over the phone, and be used at ATMs. The biometric technology we will be using is optical fingerprint scanning. Optical fingerprint scanning is a biometric technology because it uses the physical characteristics of the integumentary system.
Optical fingerprint scanning is really cool.
How does it work?
It works by placing your finger on a glass plate. The charge-coupled device camera takes a picture of it. The scanner has its own light source, and then it generates an inverted image of the finger, with the darker areas representing more reflected light and the lighter areas reflecting less reflected light. And the dark areas are the valleys and the ridges on your fingerprint. The CCD makes sure it has a clear image and reads the print.
There are people who are worried about privacy issues. There are some models of the scanners that save your fingerprint image and other models that turn your fingerprint into a numerical code. The models our company uses is ones that uses a sophisticated pattern matching software to turn your fingerprint into a code. The computer system then deletes the actual image of your fingerprint and just uses the numerical code for access. This prevents anyone from getting a hold of our clients' fingerprints. This provides privacy for our clients, and we believe that is important. How do we plan on using the fingerprinting in the bank exactly?
Well, I'll tell you how. All employees will be required to scan their fingers to log in, access client personal information, and access the bank vaults. Our ATMs will have fingerprint scanners for clients to access their money, because that is important. When bank tellers are talking to customers over the phone, to secure personal information, the customer will have to log in on the bank app using their fingerprint and call the bank through the bank app.
Okay. The scanning process starts when you place your finger on a glass plate and a CCD camera takes a picture. The scanner has its own light source, typically an array of light-emitting diodes, to illuminate the ridges of the finger. The CCD system actually generates an inverted image of the finger, with darker areas representing more reflected light, the ridges of the finger, and lighter areas representing less reflected light, the valleys between the ridges. Before comparing the print to stored data, the scanner processor makes sure the CCD has captured a clear image. It checks the average pixel darkness or the overall values in a small sample and rejects the scan if the overall image is too dark or too light. If the image is rejected, the scanner adjusts the exposure time to let in more or less light and then tries to scan again. If the darkness level is adequate, the scanner system goes on and checks the image definition, how sharp the fingerprint scan is. The processor looks at several straight lines moving horizontally and vertically across the image. If the fingerprint image has good definition, a line running perpendicular to the ridges will be made up of alternating sections of very dark pixels at very light pixels. If the processor finds that the image is crisp and properly exposed, it proceeds to comparing the captured fingerprint with fingerprints on file. This is an example of our biometric system being used on a cell phone. Users activate the Touch ID service on their iPhones and enter a PIN number to log into their bank account app on their smartphones. Once logged in, the user gives permission to the banking app to link to the iPhone's Touch ID technology. Users press their finger or thumb on the button at the bottom of the phone. The system examines and compares the print to the one stored previously. Once verified, the account can be accessed. This is an example of the numerical code that the optical fingerprint scanner uses. Orbital fingerprint scanning is a very accurate biometric technique.
How accurate is it?
The scan provides accurate readings 98.6% of the time. The false positive rate on fingerprint scanners is 0.01%. The false negative rate is 7.5%. Fingerprint scanning works as a reliable biometric because no one ever has the same fingerprint as you.
What about twins?
Not even identical twins have the same fingerprint. Your fingerprint never changes over time either, so your scan will always be good. Another good thing about fingerprinting is that you won't lose your fingerprint like you would a PIN or a password.
Well, all of this sounds good and true. There are some downfalls to fingerprint scanning.
Such as?
Fingerprints can't be read accurately when the scanner is dirty or when the fingers have grease or grime on them.
Ugh.
Sometimes it's the scanner that has a scratch on it, but it also may prevent it from giving accurate readings.
Some optical fingerprint scanners have been fooled by molded fingers. Cha-ching! Others have been fooled by mutilated fingers. Cha-ching! Some fingerprint scanners have thermal readers that won't allow the scanner to be fooled by mutilated fingers. Or molded fingers. For the most part, any effort to beat the system is not successful unless a lot of hard work is put into it. Even then, some of the efforts are not successful.
Hi, I'm Charlotte Douglas III, Doug for short, and I am the president of the Bank of America. Before BNB Biometrics, we had problems with hackers, scammers, and people complaining about how they cannot have access to their bank 24/7. Well, luckily, we had these two people come up with BNB Biometrics. The most amazing thing ever, okay? So like, in a fingerprint, in a scan away, you can have access to your bank account, to your money, to the ATM, whatever it may be. People would just really taking advantage of the system before all of this, when it came down, you know. It's just very accurate. They 10 out of 10 recommend them.
Go.
In conclusion, B&B Biometrics offers the most affordable and accurate fingerprint scanning software around. We use optical fingerprint scanning to keep access to ATMs, clients' personal information, and over-the-phone transactions secure and safe. The scanners provide accurate readings 98.6% of the time. Bank of America also rated us 10 out of 10, so we're pretty great.